Hi. We are so back. It's cold here. I can feel it in my bones. My donkey man bones. I don't like it. This isn't Todd's adopted child Fallout, but I think it wouldn't be a stretch to confuse the winter up here as a result of nuclear Armageddon. But that's just in my humble skin donkey opinion. And you know, we're kind of looking for what is essentially nuclear fire in a way anyways. Not normal baby basic caveman fire, but like the Prometheus special. Something capable of turning magical thorns to ash. Magical thorns summoned by this world's capital G god, Mommy America. We need in that door because I can only assume that John Elden Ring himself is behind it with the prime Elden Ring he stole his name from. Though who knows, maybe we'll just come across an Elden Ring or two while we're wandering around the Yukon up here. Save us a little time. Just a little bit. A man can dream. But let me flash backwards just an eensy bit. A thing or two has happened since we last saw each other. I finally managed to claw my way beyond the talons of those godforsaken misbegotten in the capital. Seriously, they are not normal. And I might have, allegedly, lost my mind as I'm prone to do, and I very nearly crawled my way into my monitor Beetlejuice style just so I could strangle that bipedal house cat, but I survived. I lived. By the power of the strategic, retreat in the direction I need to go. Beyond those nice fellows was the capital outskirts, guarded by a few soldiers. Nothing crazy. After I made it past them, though, I started to feel like a giddy little donkey schoolboy. This is unseen territory, guys, and the sense of wonder that had encompassed me during my first playthrough of this game when everything was new to me had returned. And that's released dopamine I'm never getting back, and my receptors are probably now begging for mercy, but this is well worth the pain of never feeling enjoyment from anything again. Maybe. I stepped into the snow of the Forsaken Lands to applause. And then I was brutally jumped by these small assholes that once upon a time I farmed for ruins and dragon barrels, so it's kind of hard for me to be scared of something that was essentially my free-range mob farm. So as of now, in this new area, the fear of God has not yet been put in my soul. But that is about to change very soon, as in, right now. Yeah, I'm not even attempting to fight you. I just want the grace, man. Oh man. Call me the Elden bitch, the ditch donkey. Oh jeez. Okay, fine. Okay, I'll bite. I'm curious. I mean, I've beat the valiant gargoyles. I can do this. I've got your brother's halberd. I think I can do it. Okay. Oh cool. Yep. Okay. That's very cool. Cool move there, sir. Yeah, so basically I handed that gargoyle's non-existent rumpus to him on a platter. Footage, corrupted. Admit shamelessly that I am somewhat obsessed with snowy environments. Even though in the real world snow is my arch nemesis and the guy that invented it should be lined up against the wall alongside the guy that invented humidity. But in games like Minecraft, Terraria, honestly just survival games in general, I'm drawn to them like a moth to flame. They're cozy. This place somehow still has the same cozy vibe in some places, at least. Others make sure to remind me exactly what game I'm playing. But we're not here for comfort, we're here for fire. We're here for Elden Rings. We're here for truth. Don't think I forgot, Miyazaki. I saw what your bouncer was wearing. But first of all, and most important of all, we're in search of fire. But not the fire these guys are holding, not quite on the level we need. What we're searching for is the flame of ruin, wherever that might be. She didn't really give me a hint. But I guess I'm getting too close to John. She wants me to like actually work for it now or something. So, okay. Flame of Ruin could be in an obvious place. Could be in a random corner somewhere. Or in like an Elden 7-Eleven. I don't know. It's alright. We'll find out. See where the road takes us. Oh, jeez. Don't do it. Don't do it. My search took me all across fields of snow and frozen lakes, one frozen lake of which was quite large and had a quite large individual on top of it. Borealis, like in Half-Life. Except unlike Half-Life, I don't think fighting him would be nearly as fun. Elden Dragon fight in the middle of a blizzard. No, hey buddy, I'll pass. A castle surrounded by fire seems as good a place to search for this so-called Flame of Ruin as any. Hello, gentlemen. Flame of Ruin. Have you by chance heard of her? No? Are you sure? Are you positive? Are you Elden positive? I wiped them out for the ruins, for the fun, for the Flame of Ruin, which did not exist within this castle. But there were named dudes, like invasion style, but not. That was different. A bit confusing, but I'm sure it's in the lore. So while that might have been a bust, the road further ahead I'm sure will lead me to the Flame of Ruin, and what I seek, what with how friendly and non-imposing it looks with the giant skull and hundreds of impaled giant bodies. But sir, Okina! Mr. Okina! Okina? Mr. Okina, sir, I'm just looking for the Flame of Ruin. Okina. I remember you from Radon's thing. You were kind of useless, but have you seen the Flame of Ruin by chance? It's kind of yay big, yay tall. I don't actually know exactly. That's the funny part. But I feel like I'll know what a Flame of Ruin looks like when I find it, you know? So like, I don't know. Do you happen to know anything about that? Oh, you're the Rivers of Blood guy. Oh, wow, you've really fallen off, dude. Gotta say, they nerfed you, bro. I'm sorry. I gotta put you down, old boy. It's for your own good. Just turn around and look at the pre-patch damage numbers. It'll be alright. I sat down for a moment to grieve for what was once the most OP thing since tax fraud, which I'm definitely not committing. But then Melina started talking to me and was like, yeah, this Flame of Ruin is close. Where though? I don't know. What am I, a GPS? She thanked my horsey though, which is cute. I like that.
Thank you, Torrent.
Look, it's alright, Miss Melina. You don't have to tell me, wink wink. You don't have to give me a hint or anything, wink wink. Keep your secrets. Maybe it's in that big bowl over there. Who knows? And it was in fact in that big bowl over there, but I did not anticipate how much pain I would find before that big bowl over there. I went across another chain and entered another open area before this big bowl, and I thought, well, maybe there's a boss inside that big bowl, because, you know, it's kind of strange how this place has been more or less empty and devoid of big boy bosses until this point, and I kind of wish I'd never thought that, because I kind of forgot Miyazaki probed my brain as a child and therefore has access to all my thoughts and memories, and so used his power to hear my questioning in my mind over the lack of big boy bosses and said, wow, this is the perfect opportunity for a big boy boss. But he said that in Japanese because, you know. And so he like pulled out his Gary's Mod spawner gun and went plop. And I hate him for it. I hate you. The fire giant is the thing my dreams are devoid of and my nightmares are filled to the brim with. Miyazaki caught me off guard with the presentation of it, I will admit. I was mesmerized by the book cover. When they say don't judge a book by its cover, they usually mean that in a negative light of, you know, don't judge someone based on their appearance and how they seem from a distance and on a physical level, because they might be hiding something beautiful beneath. But they don't talk about judging someone positively based on that same thing. I judged the fire giant positively. I gave him in his presentation like a 11 out of 10. He looks killer, and he did let her kill me, so that still checks out. But I thought it was going to be a good, fun, swell time. As I said, though, they say not to judge a book by its cover because beneath some ugly, godforsaken abomination created in 30 minutes in Microsoft Paint on Windows 95 in 1998, there might be something beautiful beneath in their heart and soul. But the fire giant has nothing beautiful within 500 yards of him. In fact, I'm pretty sure anything that can be described with that adjective has a restraining order against him. There is nothing beautiful within his soul because he doesn't have one. And that's not just because he's been possessed by the fell god or whatever symbiotic Venom Tom Elden Hardy relationship thing is going on here. No, it's because whoever programmed this guy never wanted him to have a soul to begin with, partially because he's probably bewitched by America, because he is an evil creation created by an evil man, and they want me to feel immense pain. If you put SpongeBob and the fire giant in a room and gave me 2 bullets, I would shoot SpongeBob twice just to prove that's enough to put him down, because despite being a sponge, he does not absorb bullets. Or at least I don't think he has. Has SpongeBob ever been shot? And then I would pull out more ammunition because I'm not actually locked in this theoretical room with him, and I would unload into this man in his second face, and he would still be alive because this man is a bullet sponge who is not a sponge. Despite not actually using bullets in this game because I don't think those are lore accurate, you get the point. The health pool this guy has is a bit bonkers, and I'm not sure how much of that can be attributed to my level at the moment, but chopping his health bar down bit by bit on my little horsey and on my little legs while avoiding him is agonizing because not only am I fighting him, but in typical large large Souls game boss fashion, the camera is attempting to fistfight me in the meanwhile, slightly. It's definitely partially because I keep forgetting I don't actually have to use the camera all the time, and also, I might just be bad. But, nonetheless, if the fire giant has one hater, I am that hater. If the fire giant has no haters, I am dead. So you'll never guess what I found in the bowl. It's actually a forge, by the way. Yeah, that's right. I found the Flame of Ruin. I'm just saying, I found it. Okay? No need to thank me, Melina. I found it without your help. But it's okay. It's okay. I promise. I told you. I told you I was alright with it. It's fine. On the other side of the lip of the Forge of the Giants, as this place is apparently called, is a grace, and upon sitting down...
This world is in dire need of repair and death. Indiscriminate. Are you prepared to commit a cardinal sin?
She wants me to commit a cardinal sin. Doesn't specify what exactly, but I'm down regardless. But something gnawed at me. I felt twitchy, uncertain, and then something hit me. A premonition of sorts. Can a donkey man call himself a donkey man if he is willing to give up his pocket waifu and only true friend besides Torrent in this bitch of an Elden world to achieve what he desires? No. You know, it's actually a good thing you can't hear my monologuing. I have a feeling you won't like what I'm about to do. So there was actually this sort of preacher man who started hitting me with that Heimskr speak as soon as I entered the mountaintop, but he had something interesting to say about a certain flame hidden in the depths under Lane Dell.
May chaos take the world!
Cultic flame versus allowing my maiden to go full Jean Grey but without any of the cool Dark Phoenix antics. The sewers are about as hospitable and welcoming as the rest of the capital is, but with the added bonus of our old friends the giant rats, and new fun enemies such as living sludge and these guys called omens, with the same curse Margit/Morgott had. Because like Margit, these other babies are noble-born children with the omen curse chucked into the sewers and forgotten. The pathways down here are maze-like, and the pipes themselves have lots of fun holes for me to fall down in, which led to more fun holes, but eventually I found a ladder guarded by Omen Sonic or something, I don't know, he did a funny flip, which led to 3 more omens and a 3-car pileup. But eventually I reached what looked like a church, which is probably where I would base my sewer cult if I had one, so I stepped inside. Another big omen like Margit, this time far more dripped out than he was. It was a rather tough fight. But once we danced together long enough, I began to understand his moves. Dodging became easier, and before long he, like the fell omen before him, was felled by my blade. Margit was guarding Godric, so I can only assume Moog was doing something similar, seeing as he seems to be an illusion just as Morgott's was. And surely enough, hidden door. But what lurked behind that door? As creepy and hair-raising as this area is, with the countless merchant corpses and the few burnt-out husks somehow still living, somehow the most frightening bit of this entire section is the platforming. Miyazaki, please stop implementing platforming, I'm begging you! While I'm sure gravity would be a wonderful Souls boss, your jumping mechanics are not really a marvel of technological advancement just yet. It's a bit like the Cybertruck of jumping. I'm sorry, that's just insulting, Miyazaki, forgive me. I wouldn't go that far. But I managed to make it down after breaking my legs multiple times, and at the end of a rather large hallway is what I can only assume is the flame I'm searching for. Sorry, boss.
A pity. You are no longer fit.
I was maidenless once more, but all in all, perhaps that is a small price to pay. For the life of a waifu! For the waifu, let's go!
Here comes the first needle.
Hey, that's a needle!
Apparently, catching myself on fire had the unintended consequence of sending me beyond space and time to a floating island far less colorful than the Minecraft Aether mod, and full of dragons. I left immediately, it was pretty funny actually. You see, I could easily continue on with what Melina wished for, the release of Destined Death, which I have heard talk of existing here within the ruins somewhere, or I could go back to the mainland to right a justified wrong. Through careful research and countless hours spent perusing the various tomes in the Lucaria library, I have found proof of a cure for my Elden disease. But I need something first. A needle touched by a child of America who is currently being touched by another child of America somewhere. Don't think of that right now. First things first though, we need the gold unalloyed needle, which a little birdie told me is somewhere back in Caelid. On the outskirts of Celia, near the banks of this wonderful rotten lake, which is in fact not the Lake of Rot, is an old man by the name of Gowry, who has no secrets whatsoever. He is but a wholesome old man, and he humbly asks us Tarnished to help him out with a little thing in exchange for the secrets of Celia, which I don't care much about because they're probably related to sorcery and I've never even heard of her, but I'm very much interested in his needle, which is apparently in the center of the lake. Wonderful. So I trekked over there and found someone by the name of Commander O'Neill hanging out with his ghost friends who was in possession of a certain unalloyed gold needle. In exchange for that, Gowry gave me a slip of paper which I did not read, but if I had, theoretically, it would have told me how to open up a passage in Celia that would have led up to the plateau above. But I simply dropped down the spirit spring besides Grail's sleeping mass, no beacon lighting necessary. He had told me of a girl he wished to help using the needle which would apparently heal a certain ailment of hers, which turns out to be Scarlet Rot. Bummer.
Who's there?
I almost contracted it not too long ago when Miyazaki started pumping actual Scarlet Rot into my real-life house in an attempt to stop me from finding out about all his feet. Didn't work. I found her, feverish, laying down in a nearby Church of America. In her delirious state, I asked her, ma'am, I, a stranger, am curious as to whether or not you will allow me to stab you with this sewing needle an old man in a shack gave me. Also, I found it in a swamp. It cures every known disease.
I would rather trust you than simply continue to spoil from within.
Soon enough, she was up and at it, and I returned to Gowry to tell him the good news, but found him gone, instead replaced by Millicent, who had apparently been suffering from a bit of amnesia, but was finally having her memory return, and told me of her plan to embark on a journey. Her next destination of which happened to be Altus, where I found her staring at the capital. It's a good thing she didn't ask because I'm not quite sure how I would have explained how I found her again. I most definitely do not have an Elden GPS tracker taped to the bottom of your shoe, no ma'am. I took a trip to the Shaded Castle, a place I didn't even know existed, to get her a new arm just for the hell of it, and during my traversal of the castle I saw a portrait of a lady I'm very much not looking forward to meeting. But one of her spare arms was laying around, and after getting tossed around by Elemer of the Briar for a good bit and finally managing to kill him, I picked it up and booked it out of there, and voila, new arm. And there she revealed to me her ultimate goal, to reach the Erdtree where Melania, demigod child of Radagon America, is said to reside. Someone whose life is tied to Millicent in some way or another, probably something to do with the fact they look, just alike. Luckily for me, when I happened to be investigating Liurnia all that time ago, I found a suspicious Albinauric in a pot, who was holding on to a piece of the Erdtree medallion. The other piece, though, is apparently in the possession of a master of a fort. His name is Niall, by the way, Commander Niall. Not to be confused with Commander O'Neill, of course, who we just fought. George. Bro thinks he's an airbender, but once I took care of his two minions, I found him lacking. But the important bit is that he dropped the other half of the medallion, as well as his armor, though I had to go back to the round table to buy it with the power of Elden capitalism. Bummer. But it was well worth it, even though I had pined for that Raging Wolf set for nearly half of the game. Commander's set is my new best friend. Over the consecrated snowfield and through Ordina's wonderful Celia-inspired beacon puzzle is a portal I need to go through, but the place is infested by invisible black knives that I had seen before in a video once and was really wondering when they'd show up. Wish I hadn't. First time they backstabbed me, all I could say was, oh. But then I realized they're not as bad as I expected, but that's probably only because I was running around like an absolute maniac trying to avoid them, though I found the random albineric snipers on the roofs far more difficult to dodge. Almost wish I had a bow. But I managed to light all the beacons and made it through that locked door to the portal, which sent me to the tippy top of the Erdtree, which doesn't seem like the safest place to send refugees, guys. This place, as I said in part 1, or at least I think I said in part 1, who knows, is probably my favorite area in the game, though definitely not because of the enemies in a game sense, at least visually. Mwah. Kiss on the lips. But the entire aesthetic of this place just vibes with me. It's like a location straight out of Lord of the Rings. I always jive with the sort of elven architecture look, though I'm sure there's a real world word for that. But the only architecture styles I can ever think of off the top of my head are Renaissance and Gothic and Art Deco. And I used to be an architecture major, but I must have just been a poser the entire time. This place is admittedly a little bit of a pain in the donkey because of a little thing called scarlet rot, and the enemies really enjoy spreading its love and just hitting hard in general. Then again, this is a very, very late game area, so I can't really fault it for that, and I don't, but it still hurts my heart. The Misbegotten, of course, are still the superpowered ones from the capital, and there's also Loretta, who is way cooler than her carrier ghost, but still just as easy. Honestly, it wasn't too bad until I got to this mini lake of rot Miyazaki tried to tease me with, which wouldn't have been too bad on its own if like I only had to cross it and that was that, but nah. You see, Millicent has a little thing beside it on this island, and on that island, within the small pond of rot, is one of my most favoritist, and everyone else's most favoritist boss in the entire game, the ulcerated tree spirit. Wow! I hate it. Shoot her! Shoot her! And now we have the red pill or the yellow pill. The red pill is for people who actually eat babies, and I only do that in Fallout. So I chose yellow and jumped into the ring to help Millicent with a little problem of hers, which seems to be a triplet problem actually. And for once I was the one carrying someone, which felt strange, and will probably never happen again. But Millicent died like 3 different times before I managed to kill her sisters before they killed her, which I guess is kind of the point of this whole thing. But anyways, I did it, and secured Millicent's happy ending. Oh.
Hello.
I got the needle
Thank you
though.
for lending your hand. Without your help,
Yay! Which leaves only one more stepping stone to the Mickle Needle itself.
I am Melania. I dreamt for so long, corpse after corpse left in my wake. I am Melania, Blade of Mikola. And I have never known defeat. Wait. You will witness true horror. mark of a true lord. I'm sorry. I finally met my match.
I somehow made it back beyond space and time to the eternal ruin of crumbling Fair Missoula, needle in my pocket. Only thing to do now is to properly cleanse myself with it, though the procedure itself is in a bit of a remote location and I'm somewhat distracted by the fact we're here to do two things. The other being, releasing Destined Death, which is probably as cool as it sounds, so one or the other, whatever comes first, we're here for both. I fought this ancient dragon very similar to the one I tussled with a little bit in Altus last time, and unlike that one, this one did not just peace out and dip. It fought me to the bitter end, and that bitter end was very, very drawn out. And I'm not sure exactly why I kept coming back for more, because this isn't even a boss, but I kept turning around repeatedly for the simple pleasure of being beat repeatedly. But eventually I killed it and was definitely drained after the fact. I honestly don't know how it kept going. I went through the ruins and around more bipedal walking doggies until there were more bipedal normal walking people. Banished knights, actually, the same as Commanders O'Neill and Neil, wearing the same armor I'm repping right now, I think. Yes, I would recognize this room anywhere. I have seen this before, not on my own in this game, but I have seen plenty of compilations. Oh boy, I've been waiting for it, and considering how last time fighting one of these guys went, and only one at that, I'm not ready. I actually did way better than I could have possibly imagined on my first attempt. I did so well, in fact, that it filled me with rage. Utter, holy, consuming red rage and anger. I almost tracked down Miyazaki himself so I could personally Godskin duo him. See how he likes it. I mean, look at that sliver of health. That is a thing of villain origin stories right there. And it truly would have been the start of mine had this taken as long as the Valkyrie herself, or even the Godskin guy. The one Godskin guy. Either or. But surprisingly, I carved them out in less than half an hour. 4 attempts. Is this a sign of me getting good, as they say? No. No, it isn't. There were more ruins to traverse, jumps to make, dragons to cripple. Eventually I made it to what was very obviously a staircase to a boss arena. You definitely learn to notice what a FromSoft boss entrance looks like after a bit. It seems like I had found Destined Death first, but I changed my mind. I'm not going to do whatever I find first, because releasing what is called Destined Death sounds like something with a few ramifications. Might be better to solve my little flame issue first. And so I begin the hunt for this elusive random space you're supposed to lay down in, because Michael. Certified Michaelzaki moment. I found it, surprisingly close to the other boss arena, and so I laid down and suddenly found myself thrust into the past or the future, I don't rightly know. But there was a massive dragon, an ancient hydra torn apart and sleeping like Ghidorah. Dragon Lord Placidusax, the first Elden Lord, unlike that poser Godfrey. I went ahead and cleansed myself with the Flame of Frenzy, which was more of a quiet affair than I expected, not even a cutscene. But okay, bigger things to worry about, like the dragon in the center, the first Elden Lord. Did not fight like I expected the first Elden Lord to. I had more trouble with his lackey earlier, who didn't even have a name. I mean, seriously, I beat Placidusax in one go. It was kind of embarrassing for him. I felt bad. I can see why Godfrey is the first Elden Lord now and not the first Elden Lord himself. Wow, I am just in shock. But with that out of the way, back to the ramp it was. There was a Draconic Sentinel guarding it. He killed me once. I got sad for a bit. But then I popped like 12 Zoloft and I was ready. Malekith, America's personal shadow doggy. If there was ever an anime battle in this game, this was it. They sort of psych you out with the beast clergyman at the beginning, but then he's like, psych, I'm actually a fully armed badass looking Catman Dogman guy under all these robes, and he whips out some berserk moveset mixed with Spider-Man. And I said I liked Renala's presentation most of all last time, and that's mostly true, but I think Malekith actually has the best moveset in the game, hands down. And I don't actually think I knew what I was talking about when I was talking about Renala, but she's still very cool. But also, as far as cinematic boss fights are concerned, not even Renala or Godric or even Melania can step to this, and that's a fact, Jack. I once again surprised myself immensely and gaslighted myself once more into believing that maybe I had just finally gotten good by actually not getting absolutely demolished by him, but again, no. But nonetheless, I took down Malekith and he was very sad about it, understandable. He did in fact just lose death itself kind of for the second time, but this time to a psychotic donkey man using a mouse and keyboard in a Souls game instead of a small doll lady. With the rune of death in hand, I brought back the art of dying once more to the lands between. Allegedly. In practice, no, everyone is still immortal. But the Erdtree started burning even more for some reason. I guess the rune of death also works on flora. The burning increased so much that it absolutely covered the capital in ash, which is probably what broke my fall once I fell from Fair of Missoula, or whatever just happened there. But while my act of burning this behemoth tree might actually be the end of the world due to the sheer amount of ash that is sure to fall from it, at least the thorns are open now. Theoretically. I haven't actually seen it yet. But John, Elden Ring stands no chance against Strength Man, Elden Donkman. It is simply an inevitability. All I had to do now was get over there, and soon I would be Elden Lord and would finally know once and for all whether or not shoes outmatch bare feet. I told you I didn't forget Miyazaki. Thus, prepare yourself, sir.
Marika!
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 I knew you'd come. In my bones, a tarnished cannot become a lord. Not even you. A man cannot kill a god.
Get out of the way, Godfrey. I thought you're a ghost. You don't scare me.
Tarnished by strength.
Hours upon hours of gameplay, test upon test, overcome maidens, saved and felled here, there, everywhere, feet seen, shoes seen, all for this moment, this fabled confrontation. Gideon told me no man can kill a god, but I am no man. I am become Donkey, destroyer of worlds. Ah! No, it can't be. It's not true. That's impossible. America is Radagon, as Radagon is America. What complexity. But I cannot falter here. The Elden Ring is within reach. I know John's here, America, or Radagon, or whatever your name is. I will find him. I will do it just as soon as I... tired as I was, and as close to floating away into the Elden Void forever as I was, I did as I do and persevered, as if some space parasite is going to overcome me. And so here we are, at the end of time, on the verge of a new era. Beautiful, isn't it? Miyazaki. Do you have anything to say for yourself, sir?
後悔はしてません。
I can respect an unrepentant man. May the best one win, then.